Thank you so much for the
And
thank you so much for the introduction. Hello, thank you for being here today. I'm Sotirios Papathanasiou. Papathanasiou, I'm in Greece, and sometimes I have to change the pronunciation for other people to understand my last name. So today we're going to speak a little bit about the open standards regarding air quality and also the decarbonization aspect. We have to understand that this is a global challenge that we have to address. It's the climate, but also is the health of humans, and as humans, we spend 90% of our lives inside buildings. And now inside buildings, 40% of the energy that is produced, it goes back to the HVAC system in order to operate the building, ventilation system, and also conditioning the air that's coming inside. There is a profound synergy relationship between indoor air quality and building decarbonization, which is often overlooked or addressed in silos. In many other keynote presentations today, they talk about decarbonization, but they never brought to the conversation the indoor air quality aspect and how important it is for the humans that we live in those spaces. So here I have an example of imagining a building with good indoor air quality. By implementing the right strategies, we can address both improving the indoor air quality and decarbonizing our building carbon emissions. So one of which is, for example, be smart about the indoor needs for air when we take outdoor air and indoors. Another aspect is the installation of energy efficient filtration systems. And finally, the building materials that we use inside buildings are also very important. The mechanisms now to reduce the operational carbon are two, which we have identified. One is by using the zone demand control ventilation systems, which can provide a saving of 30% or more. And another one is now using specific solvent cleanings and high-efficiency energy recovery systems in place, which can reduce annual ventilation energy between 70 and 86% depending on how we work. Here is an example of the traditional indoor air quality method, which requires high ventilation rates. And another one, which is the clean first approach, which basically we filter the indoor air rather than introducing solely other air indoors. And you can see from the bars, it is clearly where the clean first approach has lower demand for energy, so we are saving on energy costs, but also on emissions from carbon. Now, how decarbonization can change indoor air quality is between 4 steps that we have identified. One is the electrification. So the fact that we have now appliances that they don't require any fossil fuel around the building or inside the building can reduce the sources of indoor air pollution. One study found that the reduction can go up to 66% for EinB2025, which is fine particles that they leave in the air. The building envelope improvement, basically by using pressed metal insulation and air sealing techniques, also keeps EinB2025 and other pollutants coming inside from wildfire, road traffic, etc. Then the low carbon materials that we also have developed, they can also help in the indoor environment, as those materials in general are low in uses of chemicals that sometimes emitted by or off-gassing by some materials in the indoor space, and we do not want them. So basically wood, bamboo, recycled steel and glass, all those materials, they are considered as low carbon materials and they are great in the indoor space. And finally, the modernized HVAC systems, which they have efficient filters, better filters, and energy recovery systems in place, they can also improve the indoor air quality without having the energy benefit. We need global open air quality standards for the indoor space. Currently, the indoor air quality standards are very fragmented, varying significantly by regions and understanding from the public. This is the reason we created the Global Press. It's a global initiative where we're trying to unify and create transparent frameworks and open for everyone in order for common and fair benchmark for everyone in the audience. How open standards help us? Well, they foster universal understanding. They translate very complex information to simple and action-based information for the end users. Also, they empower the decision makers, enable tenants and property managers to demand healthier environments, which is very important. So basically, we are creating market-driven demand. We help guide policy and finally incentivize innovation, which drives market towards integrated low carbon solutions. We also have to understand that by providing to manufacturers open standards, they are also able to reduce costs and also reduce the carbon footprint they have. The pathways are complex and they are quite many, but at the end of the day, the most important thing here, which we have to take, is that we need to adopt an open approach and a holistic approach. Awareness is a very important thing when it comes to air quality and decarbonization. And as I mentioned earlier, those two things they go hand by hand, and we have to be very conscious and help people also understand about the impact they have, their decisions and their actions on the daily actions inside the business. Like, for example, what kind of heating they're using, or how do they cook, or the ventilation system they have in place, which is an underground or mechanical ventilation, etc. In conclusion, as I mentioned, a holistic approach is the most important thing to remember. Indoor air quality and decarbonization are synergetic, and we need to ensure a future where the right to breathe clean air is universally realized. This is what we tried to do 2 months ago when we were invited in the UN to speak about the importance of indoor air quality and address the issue. And hopefully many countries will follow. France and Montenegro were the pioneers, but hopefully other countries here in Europe and around the world will follow this example. Thank you so much.